All righty, we are back with another incredible interview for On the Clock, powered by Prospects Live. We have Coach Everett Teaford from the Auburn Tigers, pitching coach of the organization. Played with the Kansas City Royals and the Tampa Bay Rays in the major leagues. Coached at the minor league level with the Chicago White Sox as well. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Just getting ready for another weekend series.
Yeah, we're excited to have you join us. Just for the viewers who don't know you, give a little bit of background on your journey, how you ended up at Auburn as the pitching coach.
Yeah, like you said, got to the big leagues with the Royals. Got drafted out of Georgia Southern. Played a year in Korea. Played a year in Tampa, and then worked in player development for the White Sox. And then was fortunate enough to get this opportunity and took Coach Thompson up on it last summer.
Yeah, I love it. Talk a little bit about coming from a small school, Georgia Southern, and trying to kind of make it in the big leagues. I think that's kind of an interesting journey. Like every player's got a unique way of getting into the major leagues. But did you ever feel like you had a chip on your shoulder just coming from a smaller school?
Yeah, I mean, I was a smaller guy at a smaller
Yeah.
school, so I was doubling down on the small stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was 138 pounds when I got to college, and went to Georgia Southern, and Coach Hennon was awesome and gave me an opportunity and just said, hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but you'll get a shot here. And that was kind of, I guess, all maybe I needed. But yeah, I mean, I have always lived, I guess, a little bit with the chip on my shoulder, and I think it has helped drive me to where I've been able to fortunately get, and obviously making it to big leagues was a dream come true, and I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah. And I kind of love how you have that small school journey too, and right, you have all these different experiences. You had a chance to be a scout with the Astros. You worked with the White Sox on the minor league side as a pitching coordinator, and then you also pitched, like you said, in Korea and had an opportunity to kind of experience a different culture. How has like all those different experiences really helped shape you as a coach now, and how do you kind of use those experiences to help mentor the next generation?
Yeah, I think anytime you can expose yourself to a realm of different things and really challenge yourself, when I got done playing, I felt like I had a decent feel of player development, having
Hmm.
lived it, and at least if it wasn't like my direct story, I kind of got to watch 200 guys a year get impacted by coaches and what worked, what didn't. So I felt like I lived that for about 10 years. But what I wasn't good at is being able to sit in the stands and go, what is this 18-year-old Latin pitcher in an A ball going to be? And I'm not sure if I was any good or not, but I felt like that challenged me and helped me grow. I had a lot of people that mentored me, a lot of great scouts that I met along the way, older guys that really helped give me a lot of experience from that standpoint. But I think the more you can be well rounded and because every kid and every player is so different.
Yeah.
What you say to one may resonate. What you say the same thing to another might be like I'm speaking some sort of different language. So it really helped me try to broaden my horizons on a multitude of fronts.
Yeah, I love that, Tyler. I know you have some questions. Turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I remember Jared was talking about you worked with the White Sox before the podcast. So I'm kind of curious. I don't want to try and have you like play favorites or anything here, but was there anyone in particular that you really enjoyed working with in that White Sox minor league organization at all?
A lot of the guys. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing. Scouting, you're kind of away from the players and you're just kind of evaluating, and then getting back to working with the guys was a whole lot of fun. I mean, Dylan Cease, Jimmy Lambert, Crochet was in the alt was at the alt site with us. I mean, a lot of really good guys in that organization that were a blast to work with. I would say those are three that obviously have a lot of name recognition, but really all the minor league guys, even the guys that don't make it, there's still like a connection to them, and the guys that worked hard or maybe I saw myself in them. It was a blast getting to be part of that organization, and I'm still following and pulling for them. I know they're going through a little bit of a transition, but I got nothing but positive thoughts for Getz and all those guys.
Absolutely, and like Crochet now is turning into the guy we all thought he would be too, and it's great because it's like go through the long list of injuries he's had the past couple years, and now it's
Yeah.
two straight starts where it's just like this is the guy we thought he would be at Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he, to his credit, there were some things that, we really tried to focus on when we were at the alt site that he really nailed. And he came in with a very open mind, not, hey, I'm 11th overall, I'm 6'5", and I throw 100, so shut up and sit down and watch me do this. Um, he didn't really have that vibe, and the life on his fastball is exponentially better than maybe it was as a sophomore at Tennessee. I know 2020 kind of cut COVID short, and maybe was maybe getting trending that way before the shutdown. But yeah, I mean, him adding that cutter, it's really been a. I'm really happy for him across the board, and like you said, the injuries and things he's overcome from the adversity standpoint, there, I couldn't be happier for him.
Absolutely. And I thought I was muted there for a second. In terms of what you guys have at Auburn now, I've seen you guys got like Cameron Tilley's on board, Hayden Murphy, Zach Crotchfeld. I don't know why I got the names confused there.
That'd be an
I'm
interesting combo. Put those two together.
Yeah.
Wild guy.
But just looking at those guys, like that's a pretty good crop of arms to have, especially for next year when they're draft eligible. Kind of talk about those guys a little bit because I'm intrigued by a few of them.
Yeah, we do. I do feel like we have a good amount of arm talent here. There's no doubt about that. I think the one thing that we're going through some bumps and bruises. SEC play has been, let's just say, not very kind to us. We played 3 teams, and now we're going on our 4th in the top 6 in the country over the past 4 weeks. So it's been we've lost some really tight one-run games where you could have drawn it up a lot of different ways. But yeah, the arm talent's there. We just got to get them doing a little bit more as far as the little things, getting strike one, landing breaking balls behind counts, or landing breaking balls in general. Tilley's done a great job. The poise that he has seems way better than your typical freshman. He's got just a great moxie to him. Hayden and Crotch were really good last night, and UAB in a midweek outing, and their fastballs have come around, but it's still doing the little things that they kind of got to refine. But the raw abilities, to your point, are absolutely there. We just gotta do the little fundamentals of pitching maybe a little bit better than we have been.
Yeah, and you mentioned that SEC slate. Like, what god did you guys piss off to get that?
Dude, I don't know. I must have done something. I don't think it's been this life, but maybe maybe in a previous life. You kind of talk about it, and it's like, man, the SEC is a gauntlet, and you're like, from the pro side, you're like, yeah, it's tough. I get it. And then the schedule rolls out, and you're like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Like, next weekend we got Kentucky. They're like 17th in the country.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, that's not even like a breather type of weekend. But you know what? And what I've told these guys, if you want to play in the big leagues, like, you're going to have to get these types of guys out. And it's probably going to be the best hitters at these schools, 1 through 9. They might not have a metal bat in their hands, and they're, might not be a little bit of a different environment, but these are the dudes that you want to get out. Like, this is, if you can't get them out here, you're probably not going to get them out pitching for the Dodgers. So, like, let's take them maybe try to take them off a pedestal a little bit, and be more aggressive, getting ahead in counts and doing those little things. But yeah, we pissed somebody off because this first 4-week run is we're going to learn a lot about ourselves if we can our toughness.
We were saying too, like, regardless of the results, it's not like a ton of the games were blowouts either, right? Like, you were all in most of those games.
Yeah, I mean, Vandy, I would say that was our toughest series. I think we didn't play well defensively, pitching. It was our first real road series. We played some alternate or neutral site games. But yeah, they beat us up pretty good, and they played really well. They did an outstanding job, and we didn't play well enough to win those games. But you look back at, we could have made, 12 inning game against Texas A&M on Saturday that we lost in a close one. Really could have won. We're in Thursday night's game way better. We had some guys that came in that they've been really good and weren't as good in a couple of the relief appearances there. And then, Arkansas, we lose 2 one-run games, 1-0 and 6-5 late in the game. So, yeah, you can draw it up a whole different bunch of ways, but we're 1-8 and we got to get better. But the opportunity's there.
Yeah, I think the one question I have too, because you spent your career as a minor or as a relief pitcher in the major leagues, right? And I think for relief pitchers, I think they go through some of the most toughest adversity in the major leagues, just because like you never know what your role is going to be. In some sense, you're going to get called up and sent down a ton. And now you talk about Auburn, right? Going into SEC's play, facing some of that adversity. Have you used kind of some of the lessons that you had over your career and overcoming some of that adversity to really help these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing we talk about is trying to be fearless, and not fear. Like, to your point, the what role am I getting put in?
Yeah.
The one thing I try to tell these guys, I'm like, listen, we are looking at the matchups, and we're not putting you in a position that we think you can fail in. We like what you present to that batter in the batter pitcher matchup. So go out there and have confidence, and really don't worry about where he hits the ball or whatever. Worry about getting strike one. Worry about getting 2 strikes as fast as possible. Like, because there's so much a pitcher can't. In the hitter, obviously, you can smoke a ball at a shortstop, but there's a lot of outcomes that you can do everything right and still not have the result you want. But we just haven't done the little things in the process side. But I would say, the one thing, I'm kind of going to my career, and I really try to stay away from it a little bit. But like probably the only reason I got to the big leagues was because I was a utility pitcher. I mean, they could start me. I mean, one time I came out of the video room to throw 5 innings when a starter wasn't doing well, and I was supposed to start the next day. So being able to overcome those obstacles and be resilient can take you so far, not only in baseball but in life. So they're learning life lessons as well as baseball lessons right now.
Yeah, I love that. Tyler, I'll turn over to you for some rapid fire questions.
Trying to think. Chase Allsup, Joseph Gonzalez. I remember watching Gonzalez at Collegiate a couple years ago. I thought he was one of the best guys on the team, and obviously it's not been a really easy path for him recently. I know he's had some injuries, and like I really wish he would get back to the form that he was, but like kind of working with those two guys. Yeah. But what's stood out with those two guys? Because I know Allsup's kind of turned into like a pretty big draft guy this year. And Gonzalez like figure that stuff out, and I think he's probably one of the more underrated guys in the SEC. So kind of touch on those guys.
Yeah, Chase, I would say right now has been one of, obviously I haven't seen everybody, so I can't say totally, but I would say he's been one of our most unlucky pitchers. There are a couple innings between Vandy and Arkansas where, and he kind of messed up a PFP play. So the luck, him screwing up kind of gets a little bit muddy, but there were a couple plays that get made, and, maybe he's into the 6th with 2 runs, 1 run, or 3 runs, 6 innings. So those starts, like you look at the box score and you go, kind of cringe. It's not as good as you would hoped. But like you go back and watch the video and like, dang, if this play's made, if that play's made, it's a totally different situation. So I'm very optimistic about him. We've added a couple new pitches that I think are really good. One that can kind of give him some more room for error in the strike zone. So I still like I said, I think he's going to get rolling. I really feel good about that. Gonzo, we just kind of sat down the other day, actually. The biggest thing is going back, he was like 65% first pitch strikes, 65-ish% 1-1 count. So getting to 1-2 in 22, and he's like 20% off that clip. So we just got to get him being more aggressive in the strike zone early. Walks have been a little bit of an issue against righties. I think he's trying to be too fine with his sinker. But stuff comparatively, like the slider's a little bit different from 22, but like his fastball is very similar. So we just got to get, once again, just doing the little things and being a little bit better fundamentally. But I still have high hope for those guys throughout the rest of the season.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Love it. So now, since we're called on the clock, we just throw a couple of rapid fire questions at you. I just have 3. Then if Tyler has any more, we'll add on there. First one we always ask is, what's the go-to restaurant in the area for you?
Moe's Barbecue. They have really good wings downtown. Normally, me and Coach Foxhall, a couple other guys will drive the golf cart. That's the great thing about Auburn. Everything's really close. So drive the golf cart down there and get some barbecue and some wings.
Love it. Second question, over under 6 wins for Auburn football next year?
Ooh, over. I'm gonna be that guy. I'll just go ahead and I'm totally on the bandwagon.
Love
A
it.
couple of my neighbors are football coaches, so over, absolutely over.
Love it. The last question I have are: what are some of the go-to passions outside of being on the field and coaching?
We've got a farm, family farm that's about an hour from Auburn, actually, that I
That's
love to
awesome.
take my kids there. But just being with my family, I know it's not. I wish I played more golf, maybe a little bit, but I think hanging with my kids when we get some free time. It might be a corny answer, it might be whatever, but I truly enjoy getting to spend whatever's going on at the field. It's amazing how quickly they can erase anything negative that had gone down that day.
Yeah, it's an
There you
awesome
go.
perspective, right? Because like you think about it, when you go home, last thing you want is like take all that stuff from the field home with you.
I would like to say my wife would say I'm pretty good at that, but I try to really even if it means staying at the office another 10 minutes to get my mind right. The moment I walk in the door, it's game on to be a dad. I feel like I'm drinking more energy drinks when I leave the field to go get ready for the hype that they're about to bring me. But yeah, I try to do a good job at that because I know that can be not optimal for parenting or being a husband.
Love it. Tyler, you got any rapid fire?
Now I gotta ask, what is the go-to energy drink? I gotta know this.
I'm kind of a Celsius grape guy.
They're good.
It's kind of like a grape Fanta, except maybe a little bit healthier. Maybe I'm not positive, but I would say a Celsius grape or cola. That's my fix, I guess.
Hey, I haven't had the grape one yet. I gotta try that now. I think they have like the little Astro vibes or like the
Yeah,
strawberry watermelon ones. Those are really good. I will
yeah.
say.
They do a good job with taste, and they at least put enough marketing on their can that makes you feel like you're not crushing your body with something that might be questionable type of supplements, I guess.
Yeah, I'll find out one of these days if my arm starts falling off or something. If it's bad for me, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
we will.
Love it. Coach, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. We're wishing you nothing but success for the rest of the year, and we'll be watching, and good luck with everything.
Thank you guys for having me on. Sorry I was a bit of a cluster getting on, but it's great to join you, and thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, love
Absolutely.
it.